Sneed music. HB.
I just caught a vibe with you, baby. Can't wait till I'm inside of you, baby. Waking up inside of you, baby. I just caught a vibe with you, babe. Can't wait till I'm inside of you, babe. Waking up inside of you.
Alright, so my name is Sneed Music. I am 29 years old and I'm from Landover, Maryland. Creatively, I produce songs, I write songs, and I also creatively engineer my music as well. Absolutely, I love it. I love making music. I would do it for free every day. I love it. Well, I discovered it was my passion. It started out with my mother. So my mother's a singer, and my mother would always be singing around me all the time, and I would always hear her harmonize and sing the songs. So when I turned about 7 years old, she bought me a piano, and I just started producing actually just learning how to play simple songs on the piano, just wanting to put endless time into making music without any expectation, just getting lost in the process of making music, listening to songs, hopping on my piano, trying to learn how to play the songs, just the whole process of reverse engineering some of my favorite songs and then applying some of those processes to the songs that I make for myself. My first memory of creating music is when I was about 7 years old. My mom, she was running a daycare center. One of the boys in the daycare center, his father was a musician. And the day before, he had taken us to the house. He was kind of playing on his piano, banging on the drums. And for whatever reason, the next day, I just had a beat in my head. And I just remember in my head, just kind of like singing a beat in my head and like humming it. Now, although I wasn't going to a piano and actually making the production, that became a full beat in my head at 7 years old. So I was producing the beat without even touching the instrument. So yeah, that's my first memory. 7 years old, making that beat in my head. Family life growing up, for me, was really cool. You know, I would say it was a traditional middle class type of upbringing. Mother and father both active in my life. You know, I was always exposed to music. My uncle was a pretty famous gospel musician. So music has just always been something that's kind of been prevalent in my life. My mom was a famous, low-key famous musician too. When I was a kid, I remember going to like little places with her. Puerto Rico, we went to and seeing her sign autographs, which is just crazy to see your mom do that. Nonetheless, yeah, I would say for me, family life growing up was a lot of soaking up game from my mom, my father, my uncles, everybody who was around me that was making music or sort of being a business person in their own capacity. Well, hardships I experienced. When my mom initially bought me my first piano when I was 7 years old, I sort of played around with it and touched on it, but I didn't really deep dive into it until I got to high school. I got into high school. I was, fun fact, I played AAU with Kevin Durant, so I was pretty nice out here, you know what I mean? But my sophomore year, I broke my leg. When I broke my leg, that was when I just decided it's time for me to just find something else different to do. Kevin Durant is obviously one of the greatest basketball players that has ever come through here. I need to pick a different hobby, you feel me? So at that point, that was when I started to, you know, make songs and produce songs. I was a little bit sad when I initially broke my leg, but by the time my leg had healed, I had made like 3 beats. And by that time I had momentum, so I just kept on doing it. That's how I kind of reinvented myself. The first space to start would be to kind of state what I'm currently doing. So currently By night, most people know that I make music and that I'm in the studio. But by the daytime, I spend 8 hours or more per day working as a business consultant, so a management consultant. So I help companies, apply technology to solving different problems that they have, improving performance. So more or less, like, my day job is really to be a businessman. If I could be doing anything, what would it be? It would honestly have to be a mix of what I'm currently doing, but at a higher level. So at a space, like, I like my day job of working with clients and helping them solve their problems and helping them meet their missions or whatever. But I also have my own mission and I have my own vision. So I enjoy, applying those skills that I've been able to learn in ways, some of those skills I didn't even want to learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't necessarily want to go into business consulting because I was a physics major. So I was thinking that I would go into maybe something that's like science related. I worked at the Patent and Trademark Office. I used to look at inventions. I was a physicist. I was literally following in the footsteps of, like, Einstein. How do I help others in my craft? Well, I think I help others directly and indirectly. So I would say the indirect way is people listening to a song and being able to connect with it. I like to think I make mood music for millennials. I try to make songs that speak to things that we go through. But then I would say directly, my music, I help people with my music by actually producing music. So for the longest time, I was producing music for people and giving them beats, and I would help them kind of draw out concepts. When I was at Howard University, I won Howard's hottest producer because I was just producing beats all the time. And one day, one of my friends was like, "Hey man, enter yourself into this competition. You can start producing beats." So at that point, that kind of got my name around, known as a producer. So directly, I help people out by producing songs for them and helping them write songs. Interesting. Well, I think people know me for, one, my songwriting, just the level of detail that I go to when it comes to writing my songs, and somewhat how obsessive I can be about words in general. My approach to putting together a song from end to end. So everything from thinking about how the song is going to intro, to how the song is going to outro, to thinking about the speed and the tempo of a song. I've been having lots of conversations recently about just changing the song 5 BPM and how much of a difference I think that makes to the way of people perceive a song. So I would say in the next, 5 to 7 years, which is like the midterm for myself, I see myself, one, really putting myself in a position to get my career off the ground as it relates to music, and really understanding how to get myself out there, how to market myself, how to sell my music, sell the merchandise that's attached to what I'm doing musically. And then outside of that, really putting myself in a space where I can take my template and apply it to other artists, right? So like help build other artists and help put other artists in positions to market their music, because they may not know how to do some of the business stuff that I've learned how to do. Like between myself and my team, we're a real lean team, but we can do a lot of things. We can make websites, we can, do the graphic design, we can think through the strategy for how we want to, connect with the public or market to the public, whatever the case may be. So, I definitely want to be putting myself in a position to share the wealth, so to speak, and to put other artists in position to get their art out there. Right, so somebody starting up trying to do this, I would say the most important thing is to have an open mind on all of your experiences, right? So you might be doing something that you might not think is going to apply to whatever your creative goal is, but man, you'll be surprised how there's ways that you can find ways to incorporate anything that you're doing into what you're doing, even if it's something as simple as learning how to communicate with people, right? Knowing how to have social skills, knowing how to manage projects. A lot of the things that I've learned on the business side, I would have never imagined that they would become applicable to the music side. But now I would say, had I not, had those business skill sets, I wouldn't be able to close the gap with my musical passion in the ways that I'm able to do now. So yeah, I would say just being open-minded and understanding that every experience is God-given and it's all in His plan to bring it all together. So just be open-minded until you see everything start to come to fruition.
Waking up inside of your